Hi, and welcome to another video. In my last video I made these garden cards. I call them service cards, but actually looking at them they are step cards. And I've watched a lot of Kevin Geary's videos, and he goes on about maintainability and scalability and semantic design, and I'd say probably he's the reason why I'm making these videos myself. I need to practice being better, and I figured the best way of practicing being better is to do something like this, making things. So anyway, when I finished this in the last video, I realised that really this should be a list. These should be lists according to Kevin Geary's teachings, and I didn't really do anything with this step. It just says step, step, step. I forgot to change that. I'm going to see if I can make those count themselves. And I'm thinking I might even try and make these dynamic, probably using ACF or something. But let's just start with the easier stuff first. So let me have a look. So if I click on the garden service card, we can see here the HTML tag is div. So if I change that to an unordered list, because that's what we want them to be. Okay, that's fine, but why did the others not work? Is that... this is where you should do it first. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. The container would be an unordered list, wouldn't it? And these would be the list items, so that should be an LI. That, in fact, let's just work on one for now. So the container here is a U, and it should have... Alright, before I go too far, let's just make this a class. Let's call this garden service card grid, and let's edit this because I can't type. Garden service card grid. I believe we'll need a list style of none. Padding of 0. And I don't know if there's any margin on lists, but I'll put 0 as well. That's that. That also means that if I take that off, go to here. I never did change that, but let's take all that off, go to here, make that display grid. I can never remember the syntax for that, so it's repeat for. Right, let's see if that works. Obviously I've googled it before. And that's not worked. Auto min max 1 over auto. So that should work. So if we do that, and then make that, do we have to put 0 pix? No. Let's save that and refresh. As I say, this is why I need to practice. I can never remember things, and obviously repetition is going to help. Right, so let's look at the container. We now have the, I don't need the code on there. So that's that. List. We need a gap of M. So let's just check that that is how I want it to be. So we have an unordered list with a list item, but they are not list items because I didn't do those. That's okay, because I think what we're going to do is, as I say, try and make these dynamic, so post types. Okay. Let me just see if I have ACF installed. We do, so let's do a post type of garden steps, gardening. Can we have a we don't need it hierarchical. That's fine. What is it going to support? Title, custom fields. Okay, let's go to field groups because we are going to need garden steps. We're going to need text. We're going to need garden step lead. And this is going to be, if it's garden step, let's click save. There's garden steps, add new garden step, garden design, soil filtering. So garden design, actually we don't need that. We don't need that at all. So let's just forget that. What we do need is another, for the SVG, step is going to be in there. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to count. So really all we need is a title, image, and another thing. So let's go to set the featured image. That was this chap. Set featured image. Let's publish that for now. Let's go back to ACF and go to field groups. Let's go to garden steps. What we don't need is that. What we will need is an image field. And we'll call this garden step icon. Image array, that should work hopefully. On garden step, let's click save changes. Let's go to garden steps. Let's go to garden design. Add the image. And it's a leaf, let's say. Let's click save. Alright, so now what I need to do actually is get rid of these, save that. Need to refresh Bricks Builder because it doesn't know all the data that we just put in. Hopefully this works. Always full of confidence. We want to loop through this. So we'll go to query loop. We want to query posts, and the post is going to be garden steps. Okay, there's only one at the moment, so that's fine. Media wrapper, media. Let's get rid of that. Dynamic data should be featured image. That seemed to work. The icon wrapper, let's do the block first because that is easier. The heading, instead of garden design, that should be post title. This should be step 1, but let's get rid of that. Now I just don't know if the icon will allow me to have a dynamic thing. No, it doesn't. So what I'm going to need to do is use an image instead. I'm going to get rid of that for now. Let's click on that one. Let's click dynamic data and we'll search for icon, garden step icon. Sorry, I'm going to have to pause. Someone's calling me. Sorry for the weird cut there. I had to take a phone call. Right, let's see if we can get this. So that's garden service card icon. Garden service card icon. That does that, but it does not change the feel of the SVG, which is probably what I would expect, being as it's not actually an SVG element now. Right, so let's get rid of the icon. That's in there. In there. Icon. No, that's if we've got an icon. Can we just change the colour? Let's just see if it works at all. No. Stroke green. Okay, let's just look at this on the front end. See if we can figure out what image source, class. Because it's an image, no. So can we not do a dynamic SVG? Because obviously as an image that just comes through. Alright, let me try again with an SVG. Let's click on the SVG, content, source, dynamic data. Icon, golden step icon. There we go. This is looking better. So let's put the icon stuff on there. Oh, that was all a waste of time, wasn't it? But you learned something new. That is the card. So what we should be able to do is, let's have a look. We've got soil filtering, ready to plant. I'm never going to remember any of those. Let's go to add new garden step. Soil filtering, set featured image. That one. Select. Let's publish. Let's, yep, that seems to be working. So now let's add another one. And what was it? Ready to plant. Ready to plant. Let's put this little boy. I assume it's a boy. Let's put that one in because he does actually, he's holding a watering can, so that probably worked quite nice. Obviously this is just for the video. It really doesn't make any difference at the moment. It's not real. Using Soil Medic. Using Soil Medic. Let's put that one in there. And let's put in that one. That's all okay, that looks great. Let's just do a quick look here. Right, yes, on the other one. If you look at the previous video, this happened here. Really what I should do is use a better SVG. But in fact I'm going to have to on this one, because on the previous card I use the ID. But being as I'm looping through this, I can't. So let's go to all garden steps. That's on this one with the ready to plant. So let's just delete that. Let's add another one, which is this one. Save it. There we go. Obviously we would just need to make sure that all the SVGs were formatted the same and didn't have a fill that we couldn't do anything with. So that works fine now. They do link, but do they go straight to, they go to nowhere at the moment. Right, so let's go back to here. Let's save this and refresh the builder so that we have the new ones coming in. That's great. Let's go back to here in the section. We are looping through this, so let's make sure this is post per page of 4, and we will have by date, but we will have ascending. Is that right, ascending? So they're the other way around? No, let's go descending then. I will look at that in a moment, hopefully. Let's get to the heading. That now wants to link to the post URL. So now if we refresh, that should link to the post URL. It does. I don't have a template for those set up, obviously, but so it's not going to show anything. But it is going to, yep, ready to plant. That's working fine. So you know, obviously the next step would be to make a template for these. I'm not going to do that here. Now I'm using ACSS, so I can do clickable parent, which is a brilliant time saver as far as I'm concerned. But that does mean that I do have to make the card relative, I believe. Card service card, layout, position, relative. So once doing that, that should mean that the whole card is clickable. Yep, the whole card. It's only linking on the garden design or the actual heading, but the whole card is clickable, which is brilliant. And another thing semantically, I believe, is that this should actually go after the content wrapper. But then we can change it in the ordering. Where is ordering? Let's search for the settings. Order of -1. So that's now the right way, but semantically it comes afterwards. So the first thing is not the heading. Really, we need to move that around, but then make this wrapper an order of -1. Yep. So the first thing in the whole of this list should be the heading, I believe. I think that's how it should be, if I've been listening to Kevin right. So let's inspect the page. Please tell me if I'm getting this all wrong. Section, that's an unordered list. That's a list. Here's my div. First thing in there is the heading. Yep. So the first thing in that would be read out would be the heading. Right. I think that works, and I think that's the whole thing. Now I just need to tackle this step. Now, I think watching Kevin's videos we can do a counter reset, or a counter. But I think we need to do it with a pseudo element. So if we go to style, press root, so command tab R to put root in there. We need to position this relative. Then what I'm going to need to do is that and after, because we want it after. Content, for now I'm just going to put 1. I'm going to put position. Do I need to put position absolute? Display flex. Let's go back to that's the lead. Display flex. That's fine there. I don't need that display flex there. A gap 0.25 m. Oh my goodness me, I wish I could type. That worked, did it? Yep. 0.2 for now. 0.2 m, so now I've got step 1, step 1, step 1, step 1, step 1. we want to count the cards. Let me figure this out. These are on the list items, so surely it's on this card. Let me just do a quick Google counter CSS. So if we're counting the sections, we actually want to count the cards, or the steps. We want to count the steps, but it's on each card. So we would need to put that on the card. So let's call this garden step. I'm really trying to figure this out. And then we need to put in the CSS on the content. So that's going to be in the contents. It's counter. So let's go back to the step. Counter content, right. So that is what we're going to need. So content isn't that. It's going to be counter, not section, but gardening step. And that didn't work. Of course it didn't work. Counter gardening step. So maybe, let's just save that. I think that's right. I think that's right. Maybe I'm just not counting the right thing. So, counter is gardening step. Do I put it on here? Where did I put it? Here. Let's go to lead. No. Is it on the card? I'm sure that's what I just did. Garden step. Garden step. Let's just check on the front end. No, step 0. Let's close some of these down. I want to count this, so it'll be on each card, surely. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It resets on each one, so surely it is on the card. It won't be on this block. the body, so you put section. Do I need it in? No, I didn't think I did. So I think I'm just, this is unordered list, and I want it on there. I wouldn't put it in here, would I? No, I think I'm going to have to pause this and come back to you if I ever solve it. Well, I went and asked Claude for some help, and actually, yep, very helpful. I basically copied the HTML element for this section into Claude and said, you know, I want to add a step counter, and how would I go about that? It seems I missed a point off, which was to add the increment, counter increment, to the service card. So let's go through this. What it basically told me to do was to go to the grid and put in the counter reset, then go to the card, and we need to put in the counter increment. So this is what it's actually counting, and then on the lead we need a content of counter step counter, I believe. And there we have it. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So no matter which way we ordered those around, or if we add more, there would be another step. So let's just figure that out. Let's just go to dashboard. I say figure it out. Let's just add another one. Add a new garden step. We will call this weed the garden. I know that's not a step. Let's just add a new image. Here we go, this person weeding. That'll be fine. It's going to have the leaf icon. That's okay. Let's click publish. Let's check this out on the front end. Ah, of course. We set it to... But there we go, we still have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and the new one is coming there. What isn't happening is the order. So let's go back, let's see if we can figure that one out. That should be fairly simple to solve. Let's look at the query loop. By date, descending. So let's click ascending. Why is it not changing at all? Maybe that's to do with the... No, that shouldn't be to do with the post type. Let's just say it's by ID. Right, okay, that works. Obviously we could set up an order in ACF so that we could do that, or figure it out. Really, that's not the point of this at all. It's just to figure out that it works. So that works. What we can do now is go to the loop, set the query to 5, and we should have 5. Should move to next time. Yep, so that will just continue. So we could change the order. If we set up an order with ACF, that means we could actually change the step, add another step, put it in between, move the orders around. So I can see that that's really good. So no matter where they are, if we change the things again, the steps stay the same. 1, 2, 3, they're still ordered in the right way. The steps are ordered rather than the actual posts, if you know what I mean. Step 1 is always going to be in step 1. Confusing, hey? I hope this was useful. I know it was a lot of me rambling around and Googling things and trying to find out, but hopefully that shows that if you don't know the answer, Google might be able to help you, or Claude, or anything that you can use to help. Thanks for watching. If you got this far, I think you did incredibly well, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks and goodbye.